I've been talking to my mom all morning. Yep. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to be talking about Pete's Dragon. Pete's Dragon is a 2016 theatrical release about a boy named Pete who gets raised in the woods by a dragon, kinda, and how they're both discovered. It's directed by David Lowery, cinematography by Bojan Bazelli, editing by Lisa Zeno Churgin, music by Daniel Hart, and it's written by David Lowery and Toby Halbrooks. The film stars Oaks Fegley as Pete, Bryce Dallas Howard as Grace, Wes Bentley as Jack, Oona, Laurence as Natalie, Robert Redford as Meacham, John Kassir as Elliot, and Karl Urban as Gavin. In March of 2013, it was announced that this was going to be a movie, that it was going to be dramatic and not a musical, that it was going to take place in the Pacific Northwest instead of New England, and that it would take place in the 80s instead of the 1900s. They used Panavision Panaflex cameras, and Weta Digital did Elliot. They filmed from January of 2015 to April of 2015. It had a $65 million budget, made $143.7 million in the box office, which is double what it took to make and a little more, so it's not bad. Has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes consensus. Pete's Dragon continues Disney's current live-action winning streak with an update that gives the original a visual overhaul without overwhelming its sweet and soulful charm. This is breathtakingly beautiful. They captured nature so stunningly. They really gave you the idea of how many trees there are and how vast the expanse is, and like how big the trees are. Elliot looks great. What a lovey little guy. He's so cute. And the lighting is awesome. There's a lot of moments that are kind of dark, and it's really well lit in those moments. Beautiful. When this was approximately 2/3 the way done, I went, dang, it feels like it's almost over. Is it? And I checked and we were over halfway and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this movie's flying. The music is fantastic. The score especially. The score is responsible for making me emotional very early in the movie, and then obviously the movie got me there later, but this actual score, like Elliot flying, so stunning. But then there are a lot of needle drops in this movie. I didn't realize just how many like normal songs with words there are in this movie. I did not remember that at all, and once I noticed there were kind of a lot, I kept noticing when they did it. It was appropriate and it fit the vibe of the movie entirely. They did a great job doing that, but I just couldn't believe how many there were. I just had never noticed that before. This one is obviously very different from its original predecessor, I suppose. The 70s Pete's Dragon is already live action, it just Elliot is animated. 2D was a hybrid film, much like Mary Poppins, or in that sentiment, or Bedknobs and Broomsticks. You know, they were doing the meshing of it because it was so fun and new and cool. It's a very different movie. That one is very much like a musical and kind of, you know, silly and fun. Where this one is a much more like through-line serious, like they said, dramatic story. The opening of this is like right out the bat. Pete's parents die in a car accident. And then we do have a third parent death as well, where they talk about how Grace's mother passed away. So there are 3 parent deaths said/seen on screen in this movie. They don't say anything about Natalie's mom. I think a lot of people assume Grace is Natalie's mom, but that's not true. She calls Grace. And even when she's like, that's me, that's my dad, that's great, like, she doesn't say, like, my mom at all, so I don't know what the story is there for Natalie's mom. But this story, like, it's found family and, like, a goodbye. So, and coming of age and, like, all this kind of stuff. So, it's a big oof from me, dog. It's so good. So yeah, basically, Pete, his parents get into a car accident, they both die in the wreck, he's stranded in the woods and finds Elliot the dragon, and spends the next 6 years with Elliot. And they, you know, eat and live together and are bonded and, you know, besties and all, family and all that kind of stuff. And then, on the flip side, a ranger, Grace, is trying to help protect certain trees and make sure that her husband's mill company isn't cutting down where they shouldn't be cutting, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. is happening, and then Pete runs into these people and is interested in them, and they take him in, and then they learn about Elliot, and it's a whole thing. It's very heartbreaking and comforting and beautiful and compelling, and it's a very good movie. It's from point A to point B. I was emotional from the jump when his parents died, and I had this moment of like, this kid has no one and no way of helping himself, and he finds a dragon, and like the only thing he can do is go with this dragon who will help him and is being friendly. But then, like, on the flip side, when he sees Natalie and she chases him into the woods and he's hiding behind a tree and she has no idea where he is, he breaks a stick on purpose for her to, like, chase him and come find him. And, like, so he's longing for that human connection, which is, like, so heartbreaking. Ugh, so good. I can't. Elliot is fantastic as well. It's one of those things where, like, look at what you can do without dialogue. My brother and Aubrey and I just watched Flow. So good, and there's no dialogue in that movie whatsoever. So you can show so much without telling. Elliot being sad when Pete likes the way Elliot gets lost is actually told was so sad. But then when Grace goes and talks to Meacham and is like, what did you actually see? Don't tell me a story, tell me what you actually saw. And what he actually saw was like so peaceful and beautiful and magic, and he just says it was the magic. And Robert Redford did a great job in that moment. Shocking, it's Robert Redford. Karl Urban does an excellent job being like this morally gray kind of turd blossom who kind of doesn't care about the trees. Or, you know, Elliot, because he thinks it's a dangerous dragon. And they do a really great job with not totally like redeeming Gavin, but showing that like when it came down to it, his priority was family, because like when he realizes Jack's in trouble, he throws away the whole like I want to catch this dragon and like runs to save Jack and Grace. So like I do love that they have that for Gavin. You know, I feel like Jack is kind of a character that's just there. I do think it's interesting he's not more involved. He's just the guy that has no idea what's going on and keeps getting like randomly roped into things, which I think is interesting. And then Natalie's a very sweet character. I think it was good to have Natalie as like kind of like a grounding source for Pete. I thought that was really good. And then the fact that like Grace, Meacham, and Natalie are like with Pete on like trying to save Elliot. And I was super close to crying when Grace, Meacham, and Natalie met Elliot, and they were all getting like emotional and couldn't believe it. Oh, I'm emotional thinking about it. But then I like actually finally cried when Elliot saved Jack and Grace, like when he went down and like caught their car, but then when they fell through the bridge and he saved them and came flying back up. I was a mess. I was big crying by then, and just how each of them had someone to run to. Like Pete ran to Elliot, Jack ran to Natalie, and Grace ran to her dad, Meacham. I thought that was a really beautiful moment. It's just so beautiful. I can't. And then from that point to the end, I was crying on and off just because of the goodbye aspect of, you know. And when Pete, like, in the bridge scene when he's like, Elliot, I need them. Like, oh my God. Him, like, being whatever age he is, you know, 11, 12, like, knowing he needs them. Like, they could be his parents and, like, he needs them. Like, oh my God. So good. And then this being like a found family movie and a goodbye ending where they gotta say bye to Elliot, I was doomed. I was doomed from the start. I can't do found family and a goodbye ending. Absolutely wrecked. Wrecked me, bro. I'm emotional thinking about it, but I'm not gonna cry. It was very good. This is a great movie. I've seen this before. This was not my first time seeing this. This is also one of my favorite live action remakes. I would say it's probably like, okay, we all know Cinderella's my peak, right? Cinderella's my favorite live action remake. Nothing's gonna top it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's probably then Pete's Dragon. I love Aladdin and I love The Little Mermaid. And I don't think Jungle Book is bad. It's just like I've never been big on the Jungle Book. I think it's a well-made movie. It's just too long. But I feel like it's like Cinderella and then this. This is so good. They really took the source material and just made it so beautiful and wonderful and such a beautiful story. Granted, I didn't have a huge attachment to the original Pete's Dragon. I had seen it maybe one time, and I feel like, so people might be mad about this movie being almost nothing like the first one, which I can totally respect if people feel that way about this, but I love this version of this movie. Oakes is so good in this as Pete. I genuinely think he's a huge reason this movie is as successful as it is. He sells this entirely when he is cornered by Grace after he's been in the hospital, and she catches him and he starts howling for Elliot. Oh my gosh. He does a really great job in this. I also think Bryce Dallas Howard does a great job in this. I don't think anyone does a bad job, to be clear. I just think Oakes is standout. Favorite part is tough. Elliot, Pete and Elliot's relationship, seeing Elliot again with his own kind at the end, Elliot saving Jack and Grace. It's hard to pick a favorite part. There are so many moments that are heavy, emotional, but in a happy way. That's hard. Least favorite part? Probably Gavin shooting Elliot when Grace and Pete and Natalie are screaming at him not to. That's really tough. And then maybe just Gavin in general being it's mine. What's in there is mine. It's my dragon. Because he caught it when he had help, first of all. I think that might be my least favorite part just because it's really sad. Really hard to see. Recommend? Absolutely. If you haven't seen this, please go watch it. Watch again? Totally. It's one of those movies. I would definitely revisit this. It's so good. Specific moments, I don't really have any other than I get goosebumps sometimes, especially at the opening with the flying. Otherwise, I think this movie isn't talked about enough. I feel like this is one of the live action remakes people forget about. To be fair, I don't even know if this could be considered a live action remake instead of just a remake, because the first one's live action. It just has an animated dragon, and this one technically it's an animated dragon. So I think this one might just fall under remake instead of live action remake, which I concur with. But people, I feel forget about this one, and it's really good. So I feel people are constantly comparing Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella and Jungle Book and Little Mermaid and Aladdin and now Snow White and blah 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 blah. Or Cruella or whatever it is, when this one is never really talked about, and I think it should be, because I think it's contender for peak remake. The symbolism in this movie is so good as well. I mean, down to the frickin' when Gavin and Jack are driving their trucks along the bridge, Gavin's truck is red and Jack's truck is blue, down to the color scheme of the trucks on who's evil and who's nice. So I think it's just good. This movie's just really well done. Alright, that's it. My final rating's gonna be 10. I feel like I gotta do dragons, right? Out of 10. Our total movie count is. Our parent death toll is. Our cry count is. If you want to keep up with the movie I'm watching when, follow me on all socials to find out what movie I'm watching when. I put up videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. I got a tier starting at just $1. You get every video a week early, coupon code for merch, and that's wrong. They haven't released coupon codes yet. Okay. Every video a week early. Okay? Go check it out. Tiers with that, you daily trivia, monthly postcards, bonus content, you name it in every video, etc., etc. Buy merch. Merch is great. Merch is grand. This is one of the new colors. It's so pretty. Until next time, comment, subscribe. I'm not in charge of your life. You are, so do, and don't be. I'm gonna have to go Gavin about it. Should I leave it green for Doctor Strange because it's the time stone? The time stone is green. I feel like maybe I should. But also purple. But also red?